Ben was a cheerful little boy with a big dream. At just 5 years old, he was already captivated by the magic of music. He loved to listen to songs, and his favorite artist was none other than Elvis Presley. Ben would often dance around his living room, pretending to perform on stage, imagining the bright lights shining down on him as he strummed a guitar and sang his heart out. For months, Ben had been saving every penny he could find. He gathered coins from under the couch cushions, traded toys with friends, and even helped his mom around the house to earn extra dollars. His determination was inspiring. Every time he counted his savings, he could almost hear Elvis's voice singing in the background, fueling his excitement. After what felt like forever, the day finally arrived. Ben had saved enough money to buy a cheap guitar. It wasn't fancy or brand new, but it was perfect for him. The moment he had it in his hands, he envisioned himself at the big concert where Elvis would be performing. He dreamed of holding up that guitar high in front of everyone, hoping for a chance to get it signed by the king himself. On the night of the concert, as they drove to the arena with his family, Ben's heart raced with joy. The lights outside were dazzling, and people were buzzing with energy. He could hardly believe he was about to see Elvis live. With each step toward the entrance of the arena, Ben could feel his excitement growing. Little did he know that this night would be unforgettable in ways he never imagined. As he clutched his guitar tightly by his side, he felt ready to make memories that would last a lifetime. As the days ticked down to Elvis's concert, Ben felt a bubbling excitement that he could hardly contain. Each morning, he woke up with a smile, thinking about the special night ahead. His little heart raced just imagining being in the crowd, surrounded by other fans, all there for the same reason: to see the king of rock and roll. Ben spent his days preparing for the big event. He proudly placed his new guitar in a special spot in his room where he could gaze at it every day. He practiced strumming it softly, picturing himself performing alongside Elvis on stage. His room transformed into a mini concert hall as he danced around, singing Elvis songs at the top of his lungs. His family couldn't help but join in. They cheered him on as he put on little shows, pretending to hold a microphone and sway like a rock star. At school, Ben couldn't resist sharing his excitement with his friends. "I'm going to see Elvis! And I have a guitar!" he exclaimed, glowing with pride. His classmates listened wide-eyed as he told them about his plans to hold up his guitar and try to get it signed by Elvis himself. They all agreed it was the coolest dream ever. The week passed in a blur of anticipation. On the last day before the concert, Ben's family decorated their car with colorful streamers and signs that read, "We love Elvis!" The family got ready for bed early that night, knowing they had a big day ahead. As Ben lay in bed, he closed his eyes and imagined the thrill of meeting Elvis. In his dreams, they were best friends, sharing stories and laughter. Little did Ben know that this concert would change everything for him in ways he never expected. Finally, the night of the concert arrived, and the energy in the arena was electric. Ben could hardly believe his eyes as they drove into the parking lot, filled with cars and people wearing Elvis t-shirts. The air was buzzing with anticipation, and laughter mixed with the sound of music wafting from inside. As they walked toward the entrance, colorful lights flashed all around, making everything feel magical. When they entered the arena, Ben was swept away by the overwhelming sight before him. The stage was massive, adorned with sparkling lights that shimmered like stars. The seats were packed with enthusiastic fans of all ages, waving glow sticks and cheering excitedly. Everyone seemed to be buzzing with joy, just like Ben felt inside. He could sense that everyone had come together for one special reason: to celebrate Elvis. As the lights dimmed and the crowd roared with excitement, Ben's heart raced even faster. A spotlight flashed across the stage, and there stood Elvis in a dazzling outfit that sparkled under the bright lights. He looked larger than life, and his presence made everyone erupt into cheers. Ben's eyes widened as he gazed at his idol, imagining how incredible it would be to perform alongside him. The music began, and Elvis started to sing some of his greatest hits. The crowd sang along in harmony, their voices rising together like a wave of happiness. Ben couldn't help but dance along with them, feeling every beat pulse through him. He clutched his guitar tightly, hoping for the moment when he could hold it up and show it to Elvis. This was more than just a concert. It was a dream come true for Ben, filled with laughter, music, and an unforgettable atmosphere that he would treasure forever. As the concert reached its peak, Ben could hardly contain his excitement. He could feel the rhythm of the music pulsing through him, and he knew this was the moment he had been waiting for. With a big smile on his face, he decided to hold up his guitar high above his head, hoping to catch Elvis's attention. "Look!" he shouted, his voice filled with joy and pride. But just as he lifted the guitar, everything changed. The sound of a sudden crack echoed in the air as the neck of Ben's cheap guitar snapped right in half. Time seemed to freeze as shock washed over him. The joyful cheers around him turned into gasps of disbelief. Ben's heart sank as he stared at the broken instrument in his hands, feeling tears well up in his eyes. Around him, fans paused their dancing and singing, turning to see what had happened. Ben's face fell, and he felt a wave of disappointment crash over him. This was supposed to be his moment, the chance to show Elvis that he was a little musician with big dreams. Instead, all he felt was sadness. In that instant, he buried his face in his hands, unable to hold back the tears. The energy of the concert felt distant now as he grappled with his heartbreak. Just when it seemed like all hope was lost, something incredible happened. Elvis noticed Ben's distress from the stage. The music faded as Elvis paused mid-song, looking directly at Ben with concern in his eyes. Time seemed to stand still as everyone held their breath, waiting to see what would happen next. Ben had no idea that this moment of despair would soon lead to an unexpected act of kindness that would change everything for him. As the sound of the guitar snapping filled the air, Ben's heart plunged deeper into despair. He looked down at the broken pieces in his hands, feeling as though his dream had shattered along with his beloved instrument. All around him, the joyful cheers and music faded into a distant echo as tears welled up in his wide eyes. His mind raced with disappointment. This was supposed to be the greatest night of his life. Ben's small body trembled as he buried his face in his hands, unable to hold back the flood of emotions. Each tear felt like a tiny piece of hope falling away. The excitement that once filled him now felt like a heavy weight on his shoulders. How could something so magical turn into such heartbreak? All that practice, all those dreams of showing Elvis what he could do, seemed to slip through his fingers like sand. The crowd's gasps surrounded him, but it all sounded muffled. He could almost hear their unspoken words of empathy, sharing in his sorrow. He wanted to be strong, but at that moment, Ben felt so small and fragile. His voice barely escaped as he whispered, "Why did this have to happen?" It was then that he caught a glimpse of Elvis on stage. The king had paused mid-song and was looking directly at him with concern and urgency in his eyes. Ben's heart raced not with joy this time, but with a flicker of hope. Just when it seemed like his dreams were gone forever, perhaps something unexpected might change everything for him. That glimmer of possibility pushed Ben's tears aside as he held on tight to the idea that this moment wasn't the end. It could just be the beginning of a new chapter he never anticipated. As Ben sat there, tears streaming down his cheeks, the atmosphere in the arena shifted dramatically. The crowd, once filled with laughter and energy, became silent as they noticed the little boy's heartbreak. Some fans turned their heads, instantly sensing his sadness. It was as if time had paused for a moment just to focus on him. A few nearby fans exchanged worried glances and whispered softly among themselves. "Oh no, that poor boy!" one woman remarked, shaking her head in empathy. A group of teenagers who had been singing along stopped and began to cheer Ben on, their voices rising above the surrounding silence. "You've got this, little buddy! Don't give up!" they encouraged, hoping to lift his spirits. Ben felt a warmth spread through him as he heard their words. While he still felt crushed by disappointment, this support from strangers began to ease some of his sorrow. The crowd rallied behind him. Fans waved their glow sticks and shouted words of encouragement. "You're a star!" another voice called out from somewhere in the sea of faces. Then, there was a collective gasp as everyone turned their attention back to Elvis on stage. He stood there, still watching Ben with concern etched across his face. The sight of his idol looking directly at him brought a flicker of hope back into Ben's heart. He couldn't believe that Elvis cared about him, and what had just happened. The fans around him continued to cheer and shout their support, creating a wave of positive energy that reverberated throughout the arena. It felt like a giant hug wrapping around Ben, reminding him that even in moments of despair, kindness could shine through. Surrounded by this newfound encouragement, he started to believe that maybe his dream wasn't lost after all. It might just be waiting for a chance to come true in an unexpected way. In the midst of the crowd's supportive cheers, Elvis remained transfixed on Ben. The king of rock and roll, with his iconic hairstyle and dazzling outfit, had an uncanny ability to connect with his fans, and tonight was no exception. He noticed not only the little boy in tears but also felt the weight of the moment. Elvis paused mid-song, his guitar resting at his side as he stepped back from the microphone. The arena fell into a hushed silence as all eyes turned toward Ben. The joyful energy that had enveloped the space moments ago was replaced by an air of concern. Elvis scanned the crowd for a moment, his expression serious yet compassionate as he sought to understand what had caused this young fan to feel so heartbroken. "Hey there, buddy!" Elvis called out, his voice echoing through the arena. The crowd collectively strained to hear him as he pointed directly at Ben, who was still wiping away tears. "What happened?" Ben's heart raced as he found himself under the spotlight. It was overwhelming. He could hardly believe that Elvis was talking to him. With a shaky voice, he tried to explain about his broken guitar, but the words caught in his throat. Instead, he could only stand there, feeling vulnerable but also thrilled that his idol took a moment to notice him. Elvis stepped closer to the edge of the stage, his gaze never leaving Ben's face. "You're doing great, kiddo," he encouraged, genuine warmth in his eyes. The audience watched in awe of this special connection unfolding before them. With that interaction, Elvis knew he needed to do something special for this young boy whose dreams had just felt out of reach. The anticipation in the air grew thicker as everyone awaited what would unfold next. In that moment, Ben felt a sense of hope returning, a belief that perhaps his dreams were still alive and ready to be rekindled. With the crowd holding its breath, Elvis stepped to the edge of the stage, his eyes locked onto Ben's. The atmosphere was charged with excitement and anticipation, and every fan in the arena felt the significance of this moment. Elvis reached down from the stage, and in a gesture that seemed almost magical, he lifted his own guitar, one that had been with him through countless performances. "Hey, buddy," Elvis said, his voice warm and comforting as he leaned closer. "This is for you." He extended the signed guitar toward Ben, who could hardly believe what was happening. It was as if time had stopped, and all the noise around him faded into silence. The sight of Elvis offering him something so special filled Ben's heart with a mix of disbelief and joy. "Every musician deserves to keep playing," Elvis continued, his voice steady and sincere. His words carried deep meaning not just for Ben but for everyone in the audience. They were a reminder that music is about passion and resilience, no matter the circumstances. The crowd gasped collectively, then erupted into cheers as they witnessed this profound act of kindness. Ben reached up carefully, still in awe of what was happening. As he took hold of the guitar, he could feel its weight, both physical and emotional. Tears of gratitude filled his eyes once more as he hugged it tightly against his chest. This wasn't just a replacement for his broken instrument. It was a symbol of encouragement from his idol, an emblem of hope. The arena buzzed with excitement as fans cheered louder than ever, realizing how significant this moment was for a young boy who had almost lost everything he dreamed of. In that instant, Ben understood that dreams can be fragile but are also worth fighting for, and that sometimes even icons like Elvis can reach out to lift up those who need it most. As Ben hugged the signed guitar tightly against his chest, the emotional weight of the moment washed over him. He could hardly believe that Elvis had given him this precious gift, and tears of joy streamed down his cheeks. The world around him seemed to blur as he took a deep breath, trying to process the overwhelming kindness he had just received. In that instant, all the heartache he had felt moments before faded away, replaced by an incredible sense of happiness and gratitude. The audience, having witnessed this beautiful exchange, collectively gasped in surprise when Elvis handed Ben the guitar. It was a moment that transcended the concert. It was a powerful reminder of empathy and connection. As they saw Ben's joy unfold, cheers erupted from every corner of the arena. Fans jumped to their feet, clapping and shouting in excitement. "You got this!" they cheered, their voices echoing through the space like thunder. Elvis stepped back, allowing the crowd to rally around Ben, who looked up at his idol with wide eyes filled with wonder. The atmosphere shifted from one of concern to pure elation as everyone shared in his triumph. Each cheer felt like a wave crashing over Ben, wrapping him in warmth and love from strangers who now felt like family. In that moment, Ben realized he was not alone. The entire arena stood behind him, cheering for his dreams and encouraging him to keep playing music. This unexpected turn of events lit a fire within him, a determination to pursue his passion no matter what challenges lay ahead. As laughter and applause filled the air, Ben's heart soared higher than ever before. No longer just a little boy with a broken guitar, he was now a symbol of hope and resilience, a reminder that sometimes magic happens when you least expect it. As the cheers of the crowd surrounded him, Ben held the signed guitar close to his heart, feeling its warmth against his chest. Tears of joy streamed down his face as he looked up at Elvis, who smiled back at him with encouragement. In that moment, Ben felt a rush of emotions: happiness, gratitude, and a newfound sense of hope. It was as if the broken pieces of his earlier disappointment had been stitched back together by the kindness of his idol. Ben's mind raced with thoughts of what this guitar represented. It wasn't just an instrument, it symbolized a belief in himself and a reminder that dreams are worth chasing, no matter the obstacles. The weight of the moment sank in deeper as he realized that kindness could change everything. The support from Elvis and the audience ignited a fire within him to pursue his passion for music even more fiercely. As he surveyed the cheering crowd, Ben saw faces filled with joy and excitement, all celebrating this magical moment with him. He was no longer just a boy in the audience. He was part of something bigger, a community bound by love for music and shared dreams. He could almost hear their voices encouraging him to play, to sing, and to never give up. With each cheer echoing around him, Ben made a silent promise to himself. He would keep playing guitar, exploring music, and sharing his own dreams with the world. He knew that setbacks might occur along the way, but as long as he held on to this guitar, and the kindness that came with it, he could face whatever challenges lay ahead. In that unforgettable moment, filled with tears of joy and laughter from the crowd, Ben understood that he was not just a fan anymore. He was a musician in his heart, ready to embrace his future with hope and determination. This night would forever remain etched in his memory as a reminder that kindness can truly transform lives.